Hey friends, it's another day today. I'm very, very happy and thankful that you are here today with me as we read the Bible together for an entire year. I always like to start with just an intro, something to encourage you ladies. I believe everything in the Bible is true, but I also like to talk to you, woman to woman, and encourage you that in all walks of life, we struggle with things. And there hasn't been a season where I haven't struggled with something. And I love to share the resources that have helped me through the years beside the Bible. The Bible is the word of God and the truth, and that's where all these books are derived from. It just focuses deep down into certain aspects of the Bible, and it's always helpful to read others' commentary just to get a better idea of what God is trying to convey to us. And it helps to read other testimonies and how they lead by examples. I go to a counseling retreat each year, and Debbie Pride is the a leader, and she has so many books, but this one was very helpful for me. It's called Seasons of Adversity, and I was struggling with a certain time in my life where I was I found out something that I was surprised about, but I really focused on getting closer to God because of it, and it changed my life. A lot of people would say, "Oh, that's terrible. What happened to you?" But it was really a blessing. That's for another day, though. I want to help you out. And something that jumped out at me I read this whole thing, but something I want you to remember when you are going through a season of trials and tribulations that you do not really have problems, you have challenges. There has no temptation taken you by such as is common to man, but God is faithful, who will not suffer you to be tempted above that ye are able. But will, with the temptation, also will make a way to escape, that ye may be able to bear it. So God might shut the door somewhere and you think, why isn't he opening it? There's another door open and he is there waiting for you. And that's in First Corinthians 10:13. And one more thing, expect things to go wrong. They are going to. Many afflictions of the righteous. Many are the afflictions of the righteous, but the Lord delivereth him out of all of them. And that's Psalms 34:19. All right, we are ready to get started. Let me get set up here. I'm going to read from the screen. I'm sorry it's dark right now, but I'm working late tonight because I wanted to get these all ready for you. And I hope they are encouragement. Please put in the comments any suggestions you have to help. If there are certain topics or subjects you would like more information on, let me know that. I'd love to hear from you. All right, let's get started. We're going to continue in Acts 23. We are on week 6 here. So we're in the 3rd day, which is amazing to me. So we're going to do Bible in the Year, Acts 23 and 24, King James Version. And Paul, earnestly beholding the council, said, Men and brethren, I have lived in an all good conscience before God and to this day. And the high priest Ananias commanded them that stood by him to smite him on the mouth. Then said Paul unto him, God shall smite thee, thou whited wall. For sittest thou to judge me after the law, and commandest me to be smitten contrary to the law? And they that stood by said, Revilest thou God's high priest? Then said Paul, I wist not, brethren, that he was a high priest, for it is written, Thou shalt not speak evil of the ruler of thy people. But when Paul perceived that the one part were Sadducees and the other parts Pharisees, cried out in the council, Men and brethren, I am a Pharisee, the son of a Pharisee, of the hope and resurrection of the dead. I am called into question. And when he had said, there arose a dissension between the Pharisees and the Sadducees, and the multitude was divided. For the Sadducees say that there is no resurrection, neither angel nor spirit, but the Pharisees confess both. And there arose a great cry, and the scribes that were of the Pharisees part arose and strove, saying, we find no evil in this man, but if a spirit or an angel has spoken to him, let us not fight against God. And when there arose a great dissension, the chief captain, fearing lest Paul should have been pulled in pieces of them, commanded the soldiers to go down and to take him by force from among them and to bring them into the castle. And the night following, the Lord stood by him and said, be of good cheer, Paul, for as thou hast testified of me in Jerusalem, so must thou bear witness also at Rome. And when it was day, certain of the Jews banded together and bound themselves under a curse, saying that thou would neither eat nor drink till they had killed Paul. And there were more than 40 which had made this conspiracy. And they came to the chief priests and elders and said, we have bound ourselves under a great curse that we will eat nothing until we have slain Paul. Now therefore ye with the council signify to the chief captain that he bring him down unto you the morrow, as though ye would inquire something more perfectly concerning him, and we or even he come near are ready to kill him. And when Paul's sister's son heard of their lying in wait, he went and entered into the castle and told Paul. I'm sorry about that. Let me go back. Okay, so then Paul called one of the centurions unto him and said, bring this man unto the chief captain, for he have a certain thing to tell him. So he took him and brought him to the chief captain and said, Paul the prisoner, call me unto him and pray me to bring this young man unto thee, who had something to say unto thee. Then the chief captain took him by the hand and went with him aside privately and asked him, what is it that thou hast to tell me? And he said, the Jews have agreed to desire thee that thou would bring down Paul tomorrow into the council, as though they would inquire somewhat of him more perfectly. But do not thou yield unto them, for there lie in wait for him of them more than 40 men, which have bound themselves with an oath that they will neither drink nor eat till they have killed him. And now are they ready, looking for a promise from thee? So the chief captain then let the young man depart and charged him, see thou tell no man that thou hast shown these things to me. And he called unto him 2 centurions, saying, make ready 200 soldiers to go to Caesarea, and horsemen 70 and spearmen 200 at the 3rd hour of the night, and provide them beasts that they may set Paul on and bring him safe unto Felix the governor. And he wrote a letter after this manner. Claudius Lysias, the most excellent governor, Felix, sendeth greeting. This man was taken of the Jews and should have been killed of them. Then came I with an army, and I rescued him, having understood that he was a Roman. And when I would have known the cause wherefore they accused him, I brought him forth into the council, whom I perceived to be accused of questions of their law, but to have nothing laid to his charge worthy of death or bonds. And when it was told me that the Jews laid a wait for the man, I sent straightway to thee and gave commandment to his accusers also to say before thee that what they had against him. Farewell. Then the soldiers, as it was commanded them, took Paul and brought him by night to Antipatris. On the morrow they left the horsemen to go with him and return to the castle, who, when they came to Caesarea and delivered of the epistle to the governor, presented Paul also before him. And when the governor had read the letter, he asked what province he was. And when he understood that he was of Cilicia, so Cilicia, I feel like I didn't say that one right. I will hear thee, said thee, when thine accusers are also come. And he commanded him to be kept in Herod's judgment hall. Chapter 24. And after 5 days, Ananias, the high priest, descended with the elders and with a certain orator named Tertullus, who informed the governor against Paul. And when he was called forth, Tertullus began to accuse him and saying, seeing that by thee we enjoy great quietness, and that very worthy deeds are done unto this nation by thy providence. We accept it always and in all places, most noble Felix, with all thankfulness, notwithstanding that I, being not further tedious unto thee, I pray thee that thou wilt hearest us thy clemency a few words. For we have found this man a pestilent fellow, and a mover of sedition among all the Jews throughout the world, and a ringleader of the sect of the Nazarenes, who also have gone about to profane the temple, whom we took and would have judged according to our law. But the chief captain, Lysias, came upon us and with great violence took him away out of our hands, commanding his accusers to come unto thee by examining of whom thyself mayest take knowledge of all these things, whereof we accuse him. And the Jews also ascended, saying that these things were so. Then Paul, after the governor had beckoned unto him to speak, answered, forasmuch as I know that thou hast been of many years a judge unto this nation, I do the more cheerfully answer for myself, because that thou mayest understand that there are yet but 12 days since I went up to Jerusalem for to worship, and they neither found me in the temple disputing with any man, neither raising up the people, neither in the synagogues, nor in the cities, and nor in the city. Neither can they prove the things whereof that they now accuse me. But this I confess thee, that after the way which they call heresy, so worship I the God of my fathers, believing all things which are written in the law and in the prophets, and have hope toward God, which they themselves also allow, that there shall be a resurrection of the dead, both of the just and the unjust. And herein do I exercise myself, and to have also a conscience void to offense toward God and toward men. Now, after many years, I came to bring alms to my nation and offerings, whereupon certain Jews from Asia found me purified in the temple, neither with multitude nor with tumult, who ought to have been there here before thee, and object, and if they ought against me. Or else let these same here say, if they have found any evil doing in me, which I stood before the council, except it be for this one voice that I cried, standing among them, touching the resurrection of the dead, I am called in question by you this day. And when Felix heard these things, having more perfect knowledge of that way, he deferred them, and said, when Lysias, the chief captain, shall come down, I will know the uttermost of your matter. And he commanded a centurion to keep Paul and to let him have liberty, and that he should forbid none of his acquaintance to minister to come unto him. And after certain days, when Felix came with his wife, Drusilla, which was a Jewess, he sent for Paul and heard him concerning the faith in Christ. And as he reasoned of righteousness, temperance, and judgment to come, Felix trembled and answered, go thy way for this time. When I have a convenient reason, I will call for thee. He hoped also that money should have been given to Paul that he might loose him. Wherefore he sent for him the oftener and communed with him. But after 2 years, Porcius Festus came into Felix's room, and Felix, willing to show the Jews a pleasure, left Paul about. that is it. I am so thankful you're here. I really appreciate you being here. Again, let me know if I can make any changes, or you have suggestions or any encouragement for me, any prayers. That would be wonderful. I would be honored to pray for you. So please put that in the comments, and I will see you next time. Thanks for reading the Bible with me.